Coming up on today's CODE Bet Daily, which is also our weekly AFL show. That's an old twofer. You love that. We are talking player props, game picks, best bets, a very late Rate My Multi for every single AFL Finals game next week. Stats Guy, what's your favourite look?
They'll be holding on for that Rate My Multi. He'll be very late. But Daicos to win the Brownlow. I'm still backing him even though he was injured. And then Sydney to keep it close against the Blues.
Nice one. We are talking all AFL in this episode and also a bit of a quick victory lap about some FIBA. It's all coming up on CODE Bet Daily. It's happening right now. Welcome to CODE Bet Daily. It is a rainy Thursday, August 31st. All day. Episode 185 here of CODE Bet Daily. This also doubles as our weekly AFL show today because we're going to be covering nothing but AFL footy, I reckon, here, Stats Guy.
Why not?
Nice one. I'm your host, Jaymz Clements. I'm the editor of a very good website. It's called CODE Bet. In a surprise twist, you can find that at codebet.com.au. Joined, as always, by one of the pontiffs. That's right. One of the pontiffs of punting with the Stats Guy over there. Lee McAllion, what's going on, Stats Guy?
I'm just excited that I don't have to write or talk about North anymore. But the finals are here. I'm just sick of talking about North. We were pretty good in the awards night last night, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm happy that North's done. Don't have to worry about them. Can just concentrate on the finals now.
Sounds like loser talk.
It is a bit loser talk, pretty much.
I mean, what sort of person has a team that doesn't make the finals?
Oh, yeah, the Blues. Bloody hell. They might be out quick, but we'll see.
Wow. First time in a decade, Stats Guy. That's my joke. Come on, keep up. But now we made it. You can't ever take it away.
I can't deny that you made it.
Unless you're Essendon. Right. This is CODE AFL's footy finals back kind of daily, weekly show. What do we do? Finals. Because it's footy's back. Yep. And then I think once we hit the finals
are back.
Finals are back.
Yeah, finals are back, I reckon.
Weirdly enough, we are a day shy of when CODE Bet launched a year ago. With one of the great bad beats in all of history.
Yes.
With Tom Lynch and the Arc.
A year later and the Arc still is horrible. It is probably the worst review system in sport in the world.
Break my heart. Either way, this is CODE Bet Daily, weekly AFL, but also CODE Bet Daily. It isn't on the tin. We're talking player props, game picks, best bets. Rate My Multi. We can multi up all four of these games, I think, when we talk about the AFL finals. But what are we going to look at here, Stats Guy? It's all AFL today, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of everything. Literally AFL. And then a bit of Brownlow as well, because that's going to be a really tight race. You can check out that on codebet.com.au as well. A bit of a write-up on that.
Who wrote that?
I did, yeah. So definitely check it out.
Well spotted. All right, let's do some player props. It's time for player props. I'm very proud of Stats Guy. Nice. He pressed the button.
Almost forgot I was doing the buttons there.
All right, finals week one. Look, I'll be covering the Carlton-Sydney game. Charlie Curnow. Fresh off a Coleman win.
Yep.
4+ goals. You might look at that and go, geez, that's a fair amount. And you go, well, $2.02. What's the
$2.02. Oh.
What are we doing here? That just seems silly.
Really?
So if you're going to go for Charlie, Stats Guy.
Yeah.
My tip out of the box. The first one that I'm looking at all week for first week of the finals is Charlie Curnow 6+.
Oh,
$6. It's basically the only value bet you get for Charlie at this point. For him to go massive against Sydney. But look, Alex will tell you the Swans, that back line, still a little bit on the smaller side.
Yep.
Especially when you got Harry Mackay. You got Jack Martin up there too for the Blues. Playing on the MCG. Charlie loves the G. If he's going to go big, probably best to back him to go real big because he may as well. And for $2.02 to get 4 goals, barely worth it. Whereas Tom Papley.
The Pap.
Go back up the other end.
Yep.
Tom Papley, 3+ goals, $3.45. Great value because almost a Blue, Tom Papley.
Yeah.
Loves playing against the Blues in a surprise twist. He's booted 3+ twice in the last 3 games.
Ooh.
$3.45 sounds pretty good.
That's a bit better odds.
And I think this is also, so Papley's also the dude, I mentioned this actually in the GWS Carlton setup, is that Carlton's backline does have the problems with those sort of medium-sized forwards.
Your tools are pretty strong.
Tools are good. Yeah. And then you have like the Toby Greens of the world who are just like, I'm just going to go 3. What do you reckon? And Papley, 3+ is the exact sort of person that they will lean on. So $3.45 for Papley to have a big day out of the G is pretty good.
Yep.
And as for the man himself.
Nice. Whoa, Errol. Come on.
Whoa, Errol. He's going to go out and dominate on the G for 25+ and a goal.
Yeah, that's my favourite one as well. Yeah,
it's awesome. One of the go-to bets of this AFL season.
Yep.
$2.58 for Whoa Errol to do it. And if you want to go, so talking about Thursday's game, we had Bailey Fritsch come back last week for the Demons and just go, didn't miss a beat, kick 5. Pretty gnarly, pretty cool.
Not bad.
3+ against the Pies.
Yep. I like it.
Weird sort of setup with the Pies' defensive stocks in terms of injuries. Darcy Moore and co should be back. We don't know about Murphy yet.
I reckon he'll be back.
They should all be fine. But this is the thing. When you've missed, between Murphy and Moore and Daicos, when you've missed this
like
much
a month
football,
or so,
I think that's where I'm going to starting to get a little bit worried with this Pies team. But Fritsch is the sort of dude on the G again, in a big spot again, just steps up, kicks 3. But it's also, if you look at some of the goal kicking markets for that game, it's like horrible value sort of across the board at this point, because you've got Jamie Billy Elliott. We know he loves kicking 2+ at the G. It's $1.55.
Yeah.
Mate, check $1.50 to kick 2. What are we doing here? McStay, 2 is $1.80. And Bailey's only $1.58 for the 2+. So for 3+ for Bailey, that starts getting a little bit better with that $2.75.
Yep.
So don't mind that, because it's really tough to sort of think about who else is going to, snag a bunch of multiple majors, I think, for Melbourne is my big problem. With the milkshake out as well, which is really sad.
Yeah, that was sad. ACL. He was having a great second half of the year as well.
But of course, one of the great ones is you can always go the Alex Neil-Bullen anytime goal, $1.67.
Perfect.
Just feels like it's free at this point. Right. You got some best bets. We're going to talk some Brownlow.
Before that, I'll just quickly do a player prop.
Sorry, not best bets. Player props.
Player props for the Brownlow. But yes, I'll start off with Toby Green. I think he's going to absolutely dominate against the Saints. 20+ and 2 goals is $3.30. Obviously got named the All-Australian captain last night. I think that was well deserved. He had 16 and 2 goals last time against the Saints, and he's just been stepping up in these big games. I could just see him on the G in this massive game that a lot of people bagged the Giants' depth, but even when their lower players aren't playing well, he just steps up. So 20+ and 2 goals, $3.30, bit of value there for Toby.
That's interesting.
He's also been coming up the ground. He comes up the ground earlier in the game, and then late in the game, he'll just go, I'll sit forward and kick like a match-winning goal. So that's why I don't mind. 2+, I think, is an absolute lock, because that's only like your $1.30. But even the $2.20 for 20+, I think is pretty good as well, because he likes coming up the ground the last couple of months. So don't mind that one.
Good stuff. So what's that? That's Saturday afternoon.
Saturday after, yeah. I think I might go to that one. It might be easier to get in, that's for sure. There's only like 60,000 or something ridiculous.
I'll see you at Carlton, Sydney.
Yeah, it's sell out now, apparently.
Right, let's talk some Brownlow stats, guy. Take us through it. You've just updated your article.
Yes, I think it's going to be really close. I was having a look at all the trackers and then doing some of my own sort of tracking. Daicos is, most sites have him around that 30 vote mark, which would win the Brownlow in 8 of the last 12 seasons. So you'd think, he's going to be right up there. I'm still tipping him at the $2.75. So both Bont and Daicos are now $2.75 on the same. And a lot of sites have Bont just above him, but I don't think he's going to get enough votes in those last 3 games. They lost 2, so he's not going to get the 3 votes in those 2. Then the last one, they did beat Geelong, but I think the likes of Treloar and Libba had a better game than him, so I think the max is going to get his 1. I'm really, really torn for this one. I even think it could be a draw. The market hasn't come out for that yet. It's usually around $4 or $5, but I think it might be a little bit less because Daicos and Bont are so even in the odds. But I really am going to go heavy on the draw when those odds come out, just because it's really tight. And Bont, he probably should have gotten over that 30 vote mark, but he just didn't finish strong enough at all.
He really didn't.
Yeah.
So Bont, Daicos, then it goes Butters, Petrarca, Neil.
Yeah, Butters, Petrarca, Neil, same as the trackers and sort of what I've looked at. They're all going to be around that 27, 28 vote mark. Butters actually finished pretty strong, but there was sort of a middle period where Rosie, I think, got on top, so that's going to lessen his votes. Petrarca obviously did really well when Clayton Oliver went out, so I think he's going to be right up there. Neil as well, first half of the season, I think he got Dunkley and Ashcroft. They're going to steal some votes off him. That midfield is just too strong, but then a lot of things are saying Neil had a really strong finish. I'm not sure.
I don't think that was.
Yeah, I think he will be in the top 5, but
that's a case of like the predictors going, he had a lot of touches. So AFL, you didn't watch that game.
I think they didn't. The AFL website has him winning, and he's 4 votes ahead of the Bont, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But I still think he'll be in the top 5. So once those markets come out, I think Daicos to win is my tip, just because I think he's going to have too many votes even before he got injured. But then Lockie Neal in the top 5, Butters in the top 5 might be a bit of value there as well.
Nice one. My tip, look, to be honest, I wouldn't mind going the value for Butters at $6.
Yeah.
To come from the clouds in that 13-game winning streak, you could just turn around and go, well, he rattled off like 4 straight 3-point, 3-vote games, and you're like, Butters could be leading. Yeah. Actually, no, Daicos will be leading. Yeah. After his first 7 rounds.
I don't think Butters will be too far behind.
Butters will be right there though. So I don't mind that for $6, but I think Bont is probably the tip. I think, to be honest, I love the idea of the draw.
Yeah, I genuinely think it could be. Just all the trackers and all the averages sort of lean towards both of them getting around that 30 mark. So
it is one of the coolest years for a Brownlow because it's never been tighter.
No.
Righto, let's do some AFL Finals game pick stats, guy. What's your best match or game pick? Thanks, me. What is our best match or game picks? Well, let's go through all 4 of them, shall we? Next Thursday through Saturday. My kingdom just to have one on Sunday as well. How hard can it be? Like, oh, no, why are they doing that? We need to have the Twilight Saturday game. Why?
Yeah.
Just give me a Sunday game. Just so
what else am I going to do on a Sunday?
What else am I going to talk to my kids? Nah, they're all right. I got a bit of time for that. Collingwood versus Melbourne on that Thursday.
Yes.
We here at CODE Bet have been pretty on board the Melbourne upset in this game.
Yep.
I feel like trying to avoid a bit of groupthink. But it's hard for my brain to wrap it around Collingwood coming out of kind of nowhere, scratchy form before they just go and absolutely lay the wood on Essendon in the final round. Injuries everywhere. You get your dudes back. You hopefully have Daicos back. We won't know until next week. They lose, 66-62 against Melbourne anyway.
Yeah,
at
the King's
full
birthday.
strength on King's birthday.
We did a live stream, though.
This was a game that we live streamed. We watched. And I think we're going to see a repeat of this as well because I think Melbourne just, the way that they sort of kicked into gear in the last, 5-6 weeks, especially offensively, then Bailey Fritsch comes back as well. You lose the milkshake, that sucks. But I think between Roo, Cozzy, Fritsch, you've just got enough stuff up the front just to really put a lot of pressure on this Collingwood back line.
Yep.
And I just feel like the midfield for Collingwood might be a little bit underdone compared to like the fact that Melbourne got Clayton Oliver back in time.
Even if Daicos comes back, he hasn't played in a couple of months.
Weeks,
so
and then
it's a worry.
You add Clary back into this Melbourne midfield and look, they barely missed a beat, right? Like it was awesome. Petrarca was still out there smashing. Off they went. Jack Viney still crushing it. So my tip is still going to be Melbourne with the head-to-head and the over, 165.5. The over, you might go, geez, they only had 130 odd when the first time they met this year. It's like
Melbourne weren't clicking then.
Melbourne stunk at that point of the year, though. Last 3 Demons games have gone under, but that was, a game at the SCG last week against Sydney.
But
their offense had been firing basically before that. Well, they put up 130 on Richmond 4 weeks ago.
They did that easy, in the last quarter
And the Pies gave up, 3 straight 100-plus point games before demolisher rating Essendon,
who stink themselves. So.
Basically, the East Keeler under 14 could have beaten, I think, in that week. So,
be a good game.
The other clincher there is for me is that the last 7 Demons games that are finals have all gone over.
Oh, okay.
So there's no sort of compunction about, I'm afraid. It's like, nah, we're just going hammer and tongs, bro.
Yeah.
So Melbourne head-to-head in the over is $3.80.
Okay.
As the double market.
That's nice,
because Melbourne are actually underdogs by, 1.5 points, 2.5 points. So the line for that is around that 1.5, 2.5 mark. So I'm going to go Melbourne and the over. Stats guy, how are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I really like the over. I think Fritsch was a massive in last week. He obviously got 5 goals. I think he just settles their forward line a lot. They've got Van Rooyen. He's still a decent player, but he's a bit younger and he won't want to kick the most goals for their team. So I'm going to go Fritsch and he will help the over. I think Ginnivan coming back in for the Pies as well helps the over. Even I know it was against Essendon and the week before he looked pretty good as well, but he sets up so many of their goals. He's sort of like their Brian Myers or their Lionel Messi as Jared Waitley would say. So the over I really think is going to hit 165. And another one, 6 of Collingwood's last 8 finals have been decided by 15 points or less. So all of last year and probably the first half of this year, everyone's gone, they surely can't keep winning by less than 10 points. Well, they can. But no matter what the result is in this game, I think it's going to be less than that 20 sort of point mark. And I really think Melbourne are the better team here. So Melbourne 1-24, I really like, rather than your 1-39. So Melbourne 1-24 is $3.30, which is really good value. Because I think if you think they're going to win, I don't think it's going to be more than that 25 points. So yeah, a bit more value there.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it. Carlton, Sydney. God, I hate that we have to play Sydney.
I know.
It is the worst vibe. Literally give me anybody else. St Kilda, Dogs, GWS, do not care. Did not want the Blues to play Sydney.
And you are.
Here we are.
You're going to be stressing out in the at the G.
We'll be there. I'm taking my old man. He's had a quadruple bypass. He's had a stroke. This one might kill him. Just push him over the edge. No, it's all right.
Not if you win. Not if you. Hopefully you
77-51 back in May. It was one of the Carlton then lose to Essendon as the absolute nadir of the Carlton season.
Yep.
The Swans game was very close to it. It was just like, this is horrible. I want to gouge out my eyes. It was that bad from a Carlton perspective. But since then, the defense has really clicked into gear. The midfield is like vaguely solidified, but they've also found like a new offensive gear since Jack Martin basically came back for that Bombers game. They've looked way better. Harry Mackay came back last week. With
he didn't get to sit in the forward line a lot. He had to play ruck.
To my dear Harry McFive, I've got a feeling the Blues look better without him.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Yeah. It's a bit sad because a couple of years ago it was in Coleman and
Still,
that's right.
Sydney won 2 of the last 3 between these two teams.
Yep.
They obviously won this year, but I think the Blues won last year. My tip for this and my pick for this is that it'll be 77-51 back in May. I think you basically flip that around, reverse it.
Okay.
That's how Carlton probably try to win this game, just trying to get to 80 points somehow and just limiting Sydney enough where it's like they get to like 65. But Carlton are not going to do this easy in any way, shape or form.
Yeah.
I think the under is a play, 167.5.
Absolutely, yeah. That's pretty high under.
Sydney
over under.
plus 13.5. I think Carlton are riding like a weird 3-goal lead to 5 minutes left, and then suddenly Sydney have kicked a goal, and I'm just like,
oh crap.
Well, I'm just going to throw myself off this balcony. And
surely you got to sit level 1. All Carlton supporters have to sit on level 1.
So brutal. So Sydney plus 13.5, under 167.5. That's $3.45, and that's basic. I just can't see Carlton.
Yeah.
I hate the idea of Carlton the minus 13.5. There's just no way I'm going to trust that. So
I couldn't. Yeah, I can agree.
Sydney plus 13.5 because I think. That's the thing. If you are giving me points and I think that team can win, I'm taking those points, even if it is my beloved Blues.
Yeah.
How are you looking at this one there, Stats Guy?
I was literally going to tip the exact same things, but I might put them together. So a bit more value there.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
$3.45.
Oh, $3.45. There you go. You already said that. I was going to tip the same thing. 8 of Carlton's last 10 matches at the G have gone under those total points, that total points mark. I do think if it was played at Marvel, it's the over, like Charlie, especially Jack Martin. They don't mind like not battling the conditions and like wind or rain or anything like that. And last time you mentioned, as they played, was only 128 points total. So when you have to bump that up another 40 points or so, I don't see that happening. So I'm going to go under 167.5. And I do like Sydney at the line. I think that I'm going to mention that. That's my best bet of the weekend.
Jeez.
I think that's really good because I think Sydney can win. And the fact that they're, that far, underdogs. I think it's going to be really close, but really like Sydney at the line.
Tough scene. Saints, GWS, and Kilda won 3 straight over the Giants. It's a big, big sound getting beaten by the Saints. But they've never played at the G.
That doesn't surprise. Giants wouldn't play too many games at the G, and neither do the Saints. So.
No, I think they've played at Manuka a bunch of times. They haven't played at the MCG. The Saints won 4 straight of their games have gone under in a surprise twist to absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
The Saints are 8-15 this season. The total hitting over in their matches.
Yep. Again,
no surprise to anybody, that's the worst in the league. So
absolutely.
That's a lot of unders. So 15-8 with the unders. GWS 12-11 with the totals. So you've just got the feeling that GWS Saints, GWS have like a very high propensity. There we go.
Oh, there we go. That's good.
Propensity to play to pretty much the exact same level as their opponent a lot of the time, right?
Yeah. Whether
that be good or bad. Like you saw them just smash Carlton, basically playing in a really Carlton-y kind of way.
Yeah,
it's
just
like
attack.
Free, go.
Yep.
Whereas the Saints, I think they'll drag them into the mud. I think GWS win this, and it's under. So minus 2.5 for GWS at the moment. So it's very, very close. Under 158.5 points. That is a low.
That is very
under.
low. But it's because Ross is coaching.
But GWS are 2-5 at the G over the last 3 years. And it's, I think it's like 4-8.
To be fair, they would have had a couple of games there last year where they were really badly coached and just had the wrong teams in. So,
So, but 2-5 at the G, it sort of doesn't lend itself to going, all right, GWS, but it just, I feel like they're just a better team than St Kilda. And if you, like, a 2.5 point line is very much just like, sure, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. They just pick the line.
Yeah. We're going to go GWS. I think they've just got a little bit more talent, a little bit more top end talent as well. Saints of the G, it's hard to pick a team that you struggle to see scoring kicking a winning score. So that's where I'm landing. What do you think stats go?
I'm just going to take Giants head-to-head at $1.80. I think that's pretty good value because I think this is the trickiest game to pick, so I don't really want to go any lines. I know it's a really small line, but I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the Giants win by bloody 1 point or something like that, especially that it's at the G. Both teams very inexperienced there, so I think that's going to probably even it up and probably help the Giants, because if it was at Marvel Stadium, the Saints runners like Wanganeen, Miller, Sinclair, those types would just run all day and be able to pick the ball up off the ground very much easier and things like that. But yeah, I think Giants as well. Giants looked great without their best fullback as well. Sam Taylor was out last week. I think him coming back in will stop the likes of King and things like that. So yeah, I'm going to lean towards the Giants.
Nice. That game is going to be wild.
Yeah.
Finally, Brisbane Port in Brisbane.
Oh, wait.
Still another game to go, Stats.
I was like, I would
bit jumpy over there. Brisbane 11-0 at home this season. Port smashed them in round 3, 2 or 3, I think it was.
Yeah,
it was very early on.
Yeah.
Smashed them 126-72. The Lions have now won 4 straight. Had beaten Port 4 straight times prior to that. It's a weird sort of setup because the last couple of Port games have gone under. Brisbane went under last week as well, but that was against the Saints. Everybody goes.
Yeah, everyone goes under. Yeah.
So you feel like flat track bullies, Brisbane. But look, the biggest point here is that it's 2 top 3 offenses.
Yeah, got to go the over.
Number 2 and 3. We're going over.
Yeah.
Simple as that. 168.5. I was surprised it was this low. I'm not entirely convinced as to why.
I think maybe because you got a Lear down one end who's pretty strong. Harris Andrews is strong, but then the rest,
but there's so many forwards. There's 3 or 4 forwards for each team that can put up, over as well. 2-3 goals, and away you go. So the over is the easiest play for me here, and then the other one was coming down to the line pick here, 15.5 for Brisbane. I think they hold on and probably win by more than that. So I'm going to go Brisbane minus 15.5.
Okay.
And the over 163.5, which will get around, let's actually just bring that up because I actually have that game open in front of me and I never wrote down
that's right.
the actual thing in the end. So Brisbane minus 15.5 and over 168.5 is 345.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to go.
I think Brisbane are going to win just because it's at home and obviously they haven't lost there. I think it's 12 matches now. They've won straight there. But I don't mind Port of the line. I just had a look at the stats. Brisbane have failed to cover the line in 7 of their last 8.
Whoa.
So, and a lot of those there'll be about 4 home games in there.
Oh, that sucks.
Which is, I know that's not a massive line of 15.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah. So that's just going to be ringing in my head if I was to bet them at the line. So I'm probably going to go Port of the line. I think they match up quite well. You got obviously 2 really strong midfields, and you got, as I mentioned, Alir. You got Jonas, who I know he's on his way out, but he's still pretty strong. They've got a really tall backline that can
Is Jonas
well
again. Play?
I think he'll play. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I think he played last week and actually looked alright. I was bagging him earlier in the season, but he looked alright the other game.
Dropped.
Yeah,
he's the captain.
Yeah, I know he's the captain and he got dropped, but he did look alright when he came back in.
Yeah, I know. Koshy. He's like, I need to make a captain's call. It's like, you're not the captain. You're the president. Shut up, Koshy, you idiot.
He thinks he's the captain.
Anyway,
but yeah, I might go Port of the line, but I think Brisbane will win.
I think Brisbane just have a. Oh, geez, have we been overlooking?
They could just smash them.
Have we been overlooking Brisbane this time? It's like, no, we've not. We've literally said that they probably have the easiest pathway to a grand final.
Yeah.
So if they come out and smash the 3rd ranked team, what is it, 2 and 3 on the ladder?
Yep.
2 and 3 in offense as well. It wouldn't surprise me if Brisbane win by 5 goals and away you go.
Fair.
Nice one. Let's do some best bets then.
Perfect.
It's best bets, it's best bets, it's time for all the best bets.
That's it. It's the over. Lions Port.
Yep.
We're going over. 94.8 points a game the Lions averaged. Over 100 at home. 93.4 for Port. That's 3rd. That's a lot.
Yeah, if they get their averages,
up, it's over 187. So it's not how it works, obviously, but at the same time, like the fact that you've got 2 really good offenses going at it, I think this game will be like the most fun of all the games on the weekend.
Agreed, yeah.
Saturday night at the Gabba, going to be gnarly. Between Joey Duckets, Chucky, the hippie, you've got Toddy Marshall, old Jeremy Finlayson, Charlie Dixon, it's on. It's awesome how fun this is set up because I think we're just going to go bing, 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 bing,
hopefully,
back and forth.
There's a few games at the Gabba that did happen like that, like just end-to-end stuff. So
it's like one of those ones you're like, if you've bet the over, and it's already hit like 70 after the first quarter. You're like,
sweet, yeah. Hopefully.
So fingers crossed that happens. And one of my other ones as well is one of the classics, 25-25-20.
Yep.
If Port's playing, we're going Butters, Rosé, not Wines this time. We're going Houston because he's been awesome. So that'll get you $2.24 as well. But in terms of best bets, I had to steer clear of the Carlton-Sydney game. Collingwood, Melbourne, I'd probably go Josh Daicos 25 plus on a goal. But if Nick comes back, which he probably will, look, Josh Daicos still tends to get the 25 mark anyway. That's what he's averaged.
He'll get around that, yeah.
So he should still get that 25 plus one. And that'll probably be in the AFL show next week once I sort of actually dig into that game even more. But right off the bat, Butters, Rosé and Houston against that Brisbane midfield. I think there's going to be plenty of disposals.
Yep.
And away we go.
If there's heaps of goals, there's heaps of ball ups, there's heaps of,
nice
heaps
one.
of centre clearances.
Because this is the Daily Show stats, guy, I just wanted to point out that I went 6 of 6 of my group predictions for the FIBA World Cup.
6 of 6, really?
For the winners.
Ooh. Oh, for the winner? Yeah, you said Germany actually over Australia.
No, Germany over Australia and everybody.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Canada,
Canada over France.
That was a big one, yeah.
And
well played.
I think the initial pick had been Italy over the Dominican Republic, and then I went, Dominican Republic's better value. We went Dominican Republic.
There you go.
6 of 6.
Awesome.
Not bad, bro.
Not bad at all.
All right, what about you, Stats Guy? Best bets?
I'm going to break your heart here, but I'm going Sydney at plus 13.5. Has to be my best bet.
Why are you going to be a hater?
I was tempted to bet them head-to-head, so I was surprised that that's a pretty big line for a team that's really strong.
No, you're right.
Especially for a Blues team that are famous for crumbling. I do think they can win this one. But
why am I being strung up on a cross here? This is horrible.
I don't know. I just don't trust the Blues at all.
Nah, me
Swans, they also their whole team pretty much has finals experience. They
played in a grand final last year. I'm not surprised they've all got finals experience. Carlton last played in a final in 2013.
I think who was the only one?
We have one player. It's Ed Kerner,
but he might not even play. Yeah,
well, he probably should play because we can throw him on Errol. But,
true. Yeah.
But yeah, we have one player who's played in a final.
Yeah, which is crazy. So
and Sydney were in the grand final. Last year.
If I'm going to bet on anything this weekend, it'll be Sydney at the line. I do think the Blues can win, but I just think this is going to be really close. Sydney won earlier in the season, match up really well, so that's my best bet probably, yeah.
I'll pay that too because that was my pick.
Yeah, exactly. It was my pick anyway.
I hate it so much.
Sick of talking about Carlton, yeah.
More like hater guy, not stats guy. Anyway, that's it. CODE Bet Daily weekly AFL show done for one more week and one more day. We'll be back on deck with the AFL show again next week will be the in-depth breakdown of every single game between the three of us.
Yep.
I think because it's finals, all three of us will give our player prop, game pick, best bet for each and every single one of those four, which would be pretty cool and pretty fun. But the CODE Bet Daily show will be back on tomorrow as well with all three of us. So, between then and now, you can listen to the EPL show, which went up yesterday. You can listen to the NRL show that'll be up today. You can listen to NBA Australia. You can listen to NFL Australia. There's one of those up this week as well. There might even be another NBA Australia today, depending on whether or not I can slap Geraldo around a bit and just whip him into shape, and away we go.
He's gone HR. He's ran out of the building.
The point is, because we've got the Australia game on Friday, so we might do that. Anyway,
cool.
Subscribe on your podcast app to all of those, like, review, and star them all. And we've got hold all tickets.
Hold all tickets,
punters
they went up today again.
Some more horsies for you, so like, review, and star all of them. Chuck us a follow across all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Threads. And send in any questions via the socials. Stats will get right back to you, he and Leo.
Yep, absolutely.
He'll rate your multi. Oh, we never did a rate my multi, actually. The rate my multi would be...
Press the button?
Press the button.
Sure. After the outro.
Rate my multi.
Boom, boom, boom. I think we're going to go... What do we say? We said Melbourne plus 1.5, Sydney plus 13.5, GWS minus 2.5, and Brisbane minus 15.5. That was Michael. That's $13.04.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Other than the Brisbane one, I'm a bit worried about, but I'll still give it a solid 7.
It is an amazing final setup when the longest line of the weekend is 15.5.
How good is that?
Nice one. Either way, that's it. Done skis. Send through your multis and we'll rate them here. Stats Guy will come around to your house if you don't do that.
Yeah.
But either way, thanks, Stats Guy.
Thank you.
You're not skiving off like Alex.
No.
As
usual.
I've got too many things to do. He has a cry. But what do we say, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
All right. May all your picks come in. Happy bunting. We will catch you tomorrow on CODE Bet Daily. That's it. CODE Bet Daily, out.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.